The depiction of biblical figures with dark skin, such as Jesus, the Virgin Mary, Abraham, and King David, outside of the traditionally portrayed European context, is an intriguing subject that has garnered attention. In Russia, recent revelations of such icons featuring darker-skinned figures shed light on a lesser-known aspect of religious art. Contrary to assumptions, this isn't a unique Russian interpretation of biblical figures, but rather a reflection of historical and cultural diversity within Christianity. These icons are more than just artistic anomalies. They carry profound symbolic significance and prompt us to explore hidden truths and ask probing questions about history, faith representation, and the nuances of religious art. They challenge conventional narratives and invite us to reconsider our understanding of biblical figures and their cultural context. The reference to Mark chapter 4, verse 22, "For there is nothing hidden which shall not be manifested, neither anything kept secret that would not be brought to light," suggests a belief in the revelation of truths that have been obscured or overlooked. This verse underscores the idea that these depictions of darker-skinned biblical figures are not deviations from the norm, but rather revelations of a more diverse and inclusive history, exploring the representation of Jesus, who is arguably the most globally recognized figure, in a context that diverges from the predominantly European portrayal. Challenges us to broaden our perspectives. It prompts us to confront the biases and cultural assumptions that have shaped our understanding of religious imagery. In essence, the revelation of these darker-skinned biblical icons from Russia is a matter of art and a catalyst for a deeper exploration of the intersections between faith, culture, and history. It reminds us that the narrative of Christianity is far more complex and diverse than what is often portrayed, inviting us to embrace a more inclusive understanding of religious heritage. The typical image of Jesus Christ in Western cultures, as described, typically depicts him as a fair-skinned man with long, wavy, light brown or blonde hair, often with blue eyes. For centuries, this depiction has been ingrained in art, literature, and popular culture. However, it's essential to recognize that this portrayal is a product of artistic interpretation rather than historical accuracy. The Bible, which serves as the primary source for information about Jesus, surprisingly provides little to no description of his physical appearance. The New Testament, particularly the Gospels of Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, offers accounts of Jesus' life, teachings, and miracles, but does not detail his physical characteristics beyond his Jewish heritage. Jesus is described as a Jewish man born in Bethlehem and raised in Nazareth during the 1st century, a time and place where people generally had dark hair and brown eyes due to their Semitic ancestry. In Luke chapter 3, verse 23, it is mentioned that Jesus began his ministry around the age of 30. But beyond this essential detail, the Bible does not provide any specifics regarding his appearance. There is no indication that Jesus had any distinctive physical features that set him apart from others in his community. He likely looked similar to other 1st century Jews from the Galilean region, unlike Old Testament figures such as Saul and David, who are described as tall and handsome. Jesus' appearance is not emphasized in the biblical texts. This lack of emphasis suggests that his physical appearance could have been more remarkable and significant in the context of his ministry and teachings. The absence of detailed descriptions of Jesus' appearance in the Bible has led to many interpretations and depictions over the centuries. Artists have portrayed Jesus according to their time's cultural norms and preferences, resulting in a diverse array of representations that may not accurately reflect his true likeness. One intriguing detail mentioned in the Gospels is the need for Judas Iscariot to identify Jesus to the soldiers during his arrest in the Garden of Gethsemane. This implies that Jesus did not possess any distinguishing physical features that would have made him immediately recognizable among his disciples. Overall, while the popular image of Jesus as a fair-skinned, European-looking figure persists in Western cultures, it's essential to recognize that this portrayal is a product of artistic interpretation rather than historical fact. The true physical appearance of Jesus remains a mystery, as there are no contemporary images or detailed descriptions available to provide definitive answers. The absence of explicit descriptions of the physical appearances of biblical figures, including Jesus in the Bible, has led to speculation and interpretation throughout history. The Bible itself does not provide reasons for the similarities or differences in the depictions of these figures, nor does it delve into discussions about race or ethnicity. This lack of specificity has prompted questions about whether certain details were intentionally omitted from the biblical texts, or the writers simply did not prioritize discussing such matters. However, in recent times, there has been a re-evaluation of the portrayal of Jesus as a white European man, especially in light of growing awareness and introspection regarding issues of racism and the pursuit of truth. This critical examination coincides with significant developments, including revelations from Russia, that have sparked widespread discussion and curiosity. One of such revelation involves Russian President Vladimir Putin's decision to move a revered icon from a museum to a Moscow cathedral. This move has triggered debates about Putin's relationship with the Church and the intertwining of politics and religion in Russia. The icon in question is Andrei Rublev's Trinity, a depiction of the Oak of Mamre, where the three angels visited Abraham, as described in the book of Genesis. What's particularly noteworthy about this event is the collection of black icons displayed alongside Rublev's Trinity. These icons, dating back to the 14th century, have been gathered from private collections across Russia. They represent rare and powerful works of art that challenge conventional perceptions and narratives. Many of these black icons were preserved despite attempts to destroy them during the Soviet era, adding to their significance and intrigue. The unveiling of these icons is described as a testament to the enduring strength of truth, suggesting that their authenticity and historical significance challenge long-held assumptions and narratives. By rediscovering and showcasing these icons, previously obscured stories and representations, particularly those of black figures, are brought to light. This challenges traditional historical accounts and encourages a re-evaluation of the past through a more inclusive lens. The narrative highlights the destructive impact of historical events such as the Soviet era, during which many icons were destroyed, sold abroad, or hidden to avoid destruction. However, the fall of communism marked a resurgence in the preservation and appreciation of these artworks, with the reopening of icon painting studios and efforts to retrieve hidden or lost icons. The exhibition at Castel Sant'Angelo in Rome, featuring 40 Russian icons, marks a significant event, as it is the first time these artworks have left Russia. These icons, which were hidden after the October Revolution of 1917 to protect them from anti-religious destruction, offer a glimpse into Russia's rich religious and cultural heritage. Among these icons are a dozen examples that have never before been moved, adding to the uniqueness and importance of the exhibition. Russian icons are typically painted on wood and serve as representations of saints or sacred elements. In the Orthodox tradition, they are revered as manifestations of divine inspiration, with the artist serving as a conduit for God's message. The deep symbolism inherent in these icons extends beyond mere artistic expression. They are viewed as conduits to another world, conveying spiritual truths and insights. The materials used in creating icons carry symbolic significance as well. The wood, often adorned with a gold background, evokes the Holy Cross and divine light, while the cloth attached to the wood recalls the shroud that covered the body of Jesus Christ. These elements contribute to the overall sanctity and reverence associated with icons in Orthodox Christianity. Icons hold immense importance and recognition in Russian culture, often likened to the significance of the pyramids in Egypt or the temples of ancient Greece. They are not merely objects of worship, but symbols of Russia's spiritual identity and heritage. The exhibition showcases icons spanning from the 15th century to the early 20th century, providing viewers with a rare opportunity to explore the religious soul of Russia through its artistic expressions. It offers insights into the evolution of iconography over time and the enduring impact of religious beliefs on Russian society. In recent times, the unveiling of Black biblical icons has sparked debates worldwide. Some speculate that the icons have darkened over time due to age, while others argue that the blackness of the icons is unrelated to their age. These discussions underscore the complexities surrounding the interpretation and preservation of religious artifacts and highlight the ongoing exploration of historical truths and cultural heritage. The statements made by Robert Rubin and Johnson highlight an ongoing debate surrounding the depiction of skin color in historical and religious artwork, particularly in the context of biblical figures. Their arguments suggest that traditional representations of biblical characters as white may not accurately reflect historical realities, and they advocate for a re-examination of these portrayals. Rubin questions why, if the biblical figures were depicted as black people, their clothes did not also change color to black in the paintings. He argues that true Israelites were black-skinned people, as were ancient Egyptians. He even alludes to the location of Atlantis and asserts that Russians, unlike other countries, maintained the true paintings and iconography without altering them. Furthermore, Rubin delves into historical claims suggesting that the Kingdom of Judah was later located in West Africa and that millions of Jews fled into Africa following the destruction of their nation by Titus. He attributes the hatred towards black people to biblical disobedience, citing passages from the Book of Deuteronomy as evidence of God's warning to the Israelites regarding the consequences of disobedience. Johnson adds to this narrative by suggesting that Americans whitewashed biblical stories when telling them, resulting in the misrepresentation of black biblical figures. He argues that Russians did not alter their depictions, and that references in biblical texts support the idea that these figures were indeed black-skinned. The verses cited from the Bible, such as Songs of Solomon chapter 1 verse 5, and Revelations chapter 1 verse 15, are interpreted as evidence of the blackness of biblical figures. This interpretation challenges conventional understandings of biblical imagery and encourages a reassessment of historical and artistic representations. Overall, Rubin and Johnson's arguments reflect a broader discourse on racial identity and representation in religious art and history. They underscore the importance of critically examining traditional narratives and questioning long-held assumptions, particularly regarding the depiction of skin color in historical and religious contexts. Whether or not one agrees with their interpretations, their perspectives contribute to ongoing conversations about race, identity, and representation in art and culture. The statement emphasizes the notion that the United States, despite its greatness, has also been a great deceiver, perpetuating falsehoods and misconceptions that have been inherited through generations. This deception runs so deep that falsehoods become accepted as truths, obscuring the real answers that are often readily available. The reference to great-grandparents and parents highlights the transmission of these erroneous lessons through family lines, reinforcing the deception within society. The speaker suggests that these revelations are not limited to Black Americans, but are likely unknown to people of all backgrounds. They argue that such images of antiquity, depicting Black individuals in positions of authority and influence, have been systematically excluded from mainstream historical narratives. The discovery of paintings from the 1500s and 1600s featuring Black icons, including Jesus and Mary, serves as tangible evidence of the extensive presence and impact of Black people throughout history. The narrative underscores the importance of challenging established narratives and seeking out alternative perspectives to gain a more comprehensive understanding of history and culture. It highlights the power of visual representations to disrupt entrenched beliefs and shed light on overlooked aspects of humanity's collective past. The discussion surrounding the authenticity of the Black icons depicted in the book brings to light debates regarding the portrayal of biblical scenes and figures, particularly within the context of Russian Christian iconography. Alex Pesce, a software developer and Catholic Christian, offers insights into the adoption of Byzantine orthodoxy by Russian Christians and its impact on iconography. Pesce explains that Russian Christians embraced Byzantine orthodoxy, including its iconography, without significant alterations. The fundamental principle of Orthodox iconography is the preservation of tradition, with icons serving as portraits of Christ, the Virgin Mary, and other saints. These depictions adhere to fixed stylistic elements, including mood, garments, and gestures, which are all standardized according to Byzantine tradition. Despite the lack of formal ecclesiastical endorsement, these iconographic rules are regarded as canon within the field of iconography. The narrative then shifts to broader discussions about the depiction of Jesus, particularly in Western contexts. The protests calling for the removal of Confederate statues in the United States have ignited debates about the portrayal of Jesus as a white man. Activists like Shaun King argue that representations of a white Jesus perpetuate notions of white supremacy. King's remarks on social media have drawn attention to the need to reconsider Jesus's portrayal, emphasizing historical evidence suggesting that Jesus likely resembled people from the Middle East rather than a white European. The discourse surrounding the portrayal of Jesus reflects broader societal conversations about race, identity, and representation. It prompts critical reflection on the ways in which religious imagery can perpetuate or challenge historical narratives and power dynamics. By engaging with alternative perspectives and historical evidence, individuals like King seek to confront and dismantle systems of oppression embedded within cultural and religious institutions. The tweet by Shaun King on June 23, 2020, underscores the contentious nature of depictions of Jesus, particularly in the context of racial dynamics in the United States. King argues that white Americans, who have historically perpetuated systemic racism and violence against African Americans, could not reconcile their actions with a depiction of Jesus as a person of color. He suggests that the image of a white Jesus served to validate and reinforce white supremacy, making it untenable for those complicit in racial injustice to accept a different portrayal of Jesus. The subsequent exchange with Jenna Ellis, a lawyer representing President Donald Trump, further highlights the racialized nature of discussions about depictions of Jesus. King accuses Ellis of defending Christian whiteness rather than genuine faith, asserting that the preservation of white Jesus statues is about protecting whiteness itself rather than upholding religious values. This dialogue reveals the deeply ingrained racial divisions and power dynamics within American society, where symbols of white supremacy are closely tied to religious imagery. The remarks by Justin Welby, the Archbishop of Canterbury, further underscore the need to reevaluate representations of Jesus in Western churches. He acknowledges the diversity of portrayals of Jesus around the world and emphasizes that the image of a white Jesus is not universal. Welby's comments signal a willingness within the Church of England to engage in critical reflection on the implications of racialized depictions of Jesus and the broader legacy of imperialism and slavery. In conclusion, the unveiling of Black icons serves as a catalyst for challenging historical narratives and confronting systemic racism. These artifacts compel us to reconsider our understanding of the past and confront the complexities of representation. They remind us that truth has the power to disrupt entrenched narratives and prompt a re-evaluation of our collective history. Thank you for sticking with this video till the end. If you loved this video, please subscribe to this channel for more similar content. Please remember to like and share this video next time. Thank you for watching.